A man stands behind a counter. On the counter are a laptop and a mug. Coffee-making equipment fills the shelves behind him.
Hey everybody, Tyler here at the Evinced Café. If you're not an engineer, you might not know much about the different kinds of testing that engineers do. Stay tuned and I'll tell you why you should know more, even if you've never written a line of code in your life.
Coffee beans spin inside a grinder. A person operates an espresso machine. Cream mixes with coffee. Tyler types on his laptop and takes a sip from his mug. He sets the mug on a 3.5-inch floppy disk. Title: Evinced Café. Text: the 2 tests to know.
It might be helpful to think of your company's engineers as a bunch of writers. I mean, they are writers. They're writing code.
Text: coding equals writing.
After all, code is just a series of words put together and compiled to make computers do very specific things. But there's a big difference. In the world of novels and short stories, if your language isn't precise and correct, you might not get a message across to some readers. But airplanes are unlikely to fall out of the sky.
He watches a cartoon airplane fall from above and crash in a burst of flames beneath the counter. He flinches.
But that's exactly what software engineers worry about. Their writing doesn't just describe, it also has to do. In this sense, it has to be perfect. And so, developers do something that novelists don't. They test their code, their writing, all the time.
Text: testing equals testing.
And hopefully before a customer sees it. There are 2 main kinds of these tests, and they have lots to do with accessibility. The first kind, developed in the 1970s, was functional test automation. These tests use scripts to run through a website or app and act like a user who needs to complete some sort of task, usually over multiple pages or screens, like registering for an account, say. From an accessibility standpoint, you really want to know if someone using screen reader software can register for an account. Unit tests, the second kind, sprang up in the 90s, along with grunge and Air Jordans.
Kids dressed in grunge clothing. A pair of Air Jordan shoes.
The point of unit testing is to design and code in small pieces that have to be tested successfully prior to moving on to the next piece. And again, for accessibility, you absolutely need to know if the piece you're working on is going to be inaccessible to some set of users. Now, in the past, it simply wasn't feasible to check for accessibility for either kind of test. The few tools out there required a lot of extra work from developers, who are already pretty busy. Try telling 20,000 engineers in your organization that they need to start doing extra work on every project. Whew. At Evinced, we knew we had to make this easy to install and use, or it just wouldn't happen.
2 SDK icons spring from a cardboard box icon. A check mark appears on each of them.
So we made SDKs that install in minutes and designed them to run inside these tests that developers are already doing. That way, accessibility doesn't feel like extra work. And it has a huge payoff. In fact, if your team uses our accessibility tools for functional and unit testing, their code will be free of the most important accessibility bugs before it ever leaves a developer's desk. Now that's something to write about. See you next time, good people, right here at the Evinced Café.
Logo: Evinced.